Welcome, everyone. My name is Nathan Reish. So I'm the CEO and founder of Content Chemistry. We're a digital marketing agency and a HubSpot partner based in Australia. I say Australia because we are based all over the place. We're based in Brisbane. I'm on the Gold Coast. We've got team members in Wollongong, Sydney, and also Bowral, Sydney, and also Adelaide, or otherwise known as Radelaide. So very exciting to have everyone here today. I know majority of you already, but good to have some fresh faces as well. And welcome to our webinar today. So I just wanted to just briefly introduce what we're going to discuss today, and love to get your feedback, guys, in terms of if this is really helpful for you and maybe what we can do for the next webinar just to make it, extremely valuable to you. So, so the first thing is this webinar is really focusing on HubSpot. Obviously, we're HubSpot partners, which we'll talk about in a second, but there's been so many product updates in the last sort of 3 months or so, and you'll notice that HubSpot releases updates every single couple of days, really, and it can be quite hard to keep on track with all of them. So we thought that doing a webinar like this once a month is one way just to give you like the highlights of all the most relevant updates for you, whether you're in marketing, sales, or you're the actual business owner, CEO. Try to just pull out the most relevant updates and highlights for you. But for future webinars, we might focus on SEO, AI, LinkedIn ads, Google ads, a whole range of different things. So please, if you could just pop in the chat or the Q&A there, just what are some future topics that you'd like to discuss on a webinar? We can put those together for you, but it'd be great to know what would be really relevant to you and what you'd be interested in. But we'll probably do these HubSpot ones every month. I think they'll be valuable to you guys. But yeah, if there's anything non-HubSpot related, please pop it in the Q&A, and we'll basically go back to the drawing board and come back to you with some ideas there. So just what I mentioned before, this is me, obviously CEO and founder of Content Chemistry. I know most of you on the webinar today, been in marketing for over 20 years, both on the corporate side, working for my beloved Investor Property Group, who are one of our clients at the moment, but then started the agency about 5 years ago. Before that, I was freelancing or consulting for a few years over in France, Monaco, Melbourne, Sydney, now on the Gold Coast. So I moved around a little bit. Everyone tells me I look like Roger Federer. Probably you don't see the resemblance because of the glasses and the beard, but it's not a bad resemblance, is it? Now, just to show you legitimately, this is what I look like with more hair and a beard, without a beard. And this is Roger, the great man himself. So we did actually meet him at the Monaco Masters in 2017, I believe, over there. So bit of a side note. This is our team as well, our awesome team. We have a lot of fun. You probably know most of the team for those who are our clients on the webinar today, but yeah, this is our team. We're missing Abby. She's based in Wollongong. She couldn't make this photo shoot, but yeah, we've got a pretty exciting team. So as I mentioned with HubSpot, we've been partners now for over how many years now? For it'll be 6 years actually now. We've been partners, and then I was using HubSpot for a year before that. So we're coming up to 7 years of experience, which is pretty unique in that space. Even a lot of HubSpotters haven't been at HubSpot for 5 years. So we've got more experience than a lot of HubSpotters, ironically. We're onboarding accredited, which is a new certification that HubSpot released. And also we're on the Partner Advisory Council as well. But most importantly, guys, I wanted to talk through our agenda today. So I've tried to pull out the top 15 product updates of the last 2 or 3 months that are the most relevant for you guys, obviously as our clients. Some of you are or interested in HubSpot. Tried to pull out some of the most relevant updates for you, and then go through each one by one, and then we'll have some time for Q&A at the end. So I'm conscious that it is Friday. I hope you've got a drink or something and are relaxed. We'll try to finish the updates maybe by just after 2 p.m. maybe to 10 p.m. And then we'll have some time for Q&A at the end as well. So yeah, we'll kind of fly through it, but I want to make sure that there's some time for Q&A at the end, and yeah, we can jump in with there. So let me just stop sharing that screen and jump back into my other screen, which I will do now. Okay, perfect. Awesome. Okay, so here is where we want to just focus for the time being in terms of product updates and what HubSpot's been doing. So as I mentioned, the updates are happening every single day. It's quite overwhelming to keep on top of it all. So what we're going to do is just give you a top 15 that you can think about and also apply directly to your business. So the first one, guys, relates to the new sales workspace. So this is it. This was something that was released at Inbound last year, HubSpot's annual event. They rebranded it as the prospecting workspace, but now it's going to be rebranded again as the sales workspace. So it's not just going to be about prospecting, but it's also going to be about the entire sales, the sales funnel. So not just BDRs, SDRs, but also account executives managing discovery calls and actually closing deals as well. So it's currently in private beta at the moment. So you need to have sales professional or enterprise to access this feature, but you can enroll in this beta as well. Have a look around. I think as a sales rep, whatever you call it in your business, sales rep, BDM, BDR, it's just going to make your daily workflow a lot easier, because in one place you've got everything that you need to see. If you're not sure what that looks like, this is the prospecting workspace as it currently looks. So I think the sales workspace is going to be similar to this, but there's going to be a few little tweaks as well. But you can see it gives me like a little bit of a summary of, okay, what are my tasks for today? What are some emails that I've sent recently? What are my overdue tasks? What are my sequences doing? How are they performing? What about leads? It's got my calendar on the left-hand side as well. So it just makes it super easy to manage my day as a sales person. So yeah, highly recommend opting into that new private beta and seeing what that looks like. But it'll be similar to the prospecting workspace, but probably like a 2.0 on that. The next update to take you through, guys, is looking at workflows. So you'll notice that with workflows, they can get out of hand pretty easily. So things can go wrong. You can have duplicate workflows. There can be conflicting workflows, etc. So now there's this update called the Workflows Health tab. So let me just show you what that looks like. In your workflows here, you'll see this health tab here. And what it does, it gives you a range of different reports. So what are some workflows that need review, for example? How many of those are there? And it kind of gives you like a month by month tracking of that. But then also, what about workflows that are unused, for example? So in my case, I've got a lot of workflows that are just sitting there and they're just idle. They're not being used. So that could be a really easy way to go in there and manage those, and just either just turn them off and or delete them just to clean up your workflows. So great feature. Another feature, especially for marketing people on the webinar, is what is the worst thing is doing advertising, marketing, and then you get a lot of spam submissions coming through on your marketing campaign. So HubSpot's always been pretty good at managing spam and things like that. But now there's a new setting in forms. You need to actually opt into it. It's currently a beta as well. And it's for Content Pro, Marketing Pro, and above to get this update. But what it looks like here is you'll see here with the spam submissions column in your form settings. I've got no spam submissions here, but if I did, it actually gives me a number here. I can click on those. I can then delete any of these gibberish ones, they call them, which are, like bots and things like that that are causing problems through your form submission. So yeah, definitely recommend that just to clean up your submissions. You don't want those submissions coming through to your marketing reporting, and it kind of dilutes all the good work that you guys are doing. So that's the form submissions. The next one to run through is applying taxes on line items. Now, this sounds like a pretty basic sort of thing, right? But actually, it wasn't that simple previously in HubSpot. So the way to actually do this is that now you can apply GST in Australia, obviously, to individual line items. Previously, you had to add it at the bottom of the quote in HubSpot, but now you can add it within each individual line item. And the beauty of that is, as you can see here, it just gives you the actual GST rate within the specific line item. So all you need to do, just go to settings, and all you need to do here is just go to tax rates, and you can create a tax rate. Obviously for us, GST, 10%. And now when you put in a product or a line item, it'll automatically put that through on the quote. So yeah, simple, but we've needed that for a little while. The next update relates to Content Hub, which is HubSpot's rebranded CMS hub. So Content Hub now has a bunch of new features, including podcasts. So we've launched a podcast, and this is a great feature where you can actually use podcasts, not just the show module, as you can see down the bottom here, but also a podcast episode module as well. So you can embed that on your HubSpot landing pages, website pages, etc. So yeah, really cool feature to actually embed that sort of data in there so that you can really promote your podcast a little bit easier than probably how you have been doing it before. Now it's all natively baked into to HubSpot. Next product update is a really good one for sales teams. So this is looking at now, let me just check this is sales, professional, and enterprise, and also service, professional, and enterprise. So how this works is with round robin meetings in HubSpot, it used to be a case where it was just like round robin, like evenly. There was no way to influence, did certain reps get more volume of meetings than others? But now that's now available. So what you need to do is just go into your meetings settings in HubSpot, and all you need to do is you can create the meeting group. I've just called this one discovery calls as an example. You can select specific users or your entire sales team, and then you can change the weighting of that discovery call. So it might mean that, okay, let's say instead of being like 25% per person, let's say I want to have 50% go to me, for example, and then the rest go to the rest of the team if I'm unavailable or things like that. So yeah, give that a shot. It probably is good if you'd like to push meetings to maybe more qualified reps or ones with more experience. That's a really good way to add that weighting rotation to that. Next update relates to workflows. So I hope you guys are making use of the association labels in HubSpot. This is a bit of a game changer as well, not just associating objects with the same objects. So for example, contacts with contacts, companies with companies, deals with deals. This wasn't possible like a year ago, by the way, but now you can even use things like association labels. So for example, for example, for our NDIS clients, as an example, if you've got a contact and a contact being associated together, that's great, but you want to know which of the two contacts is the participant and which one is the maybe the provider, or it could be which one is the parent, which one is the child, things like that. So now with association labels, you can do that. But now this update, which came out in May, is that you can now create association labels using workflows. So this was not possible before. It was very manual and tedious, but now you can use workflows to generate association labels, updating them, removing them, applying them to new associations. So this could work really well for a marketing campaign where you've got leads coming in and you know exactly who they are. For example, in an NDIS example, they might be the actual participant. So you could actually mark them as the participant and then associate them to another contact. So anyway, there's lots of examples of how that could work really well. Now, really excited about lead scoring. This is a new product update back in June, but it's currently in beta at the moment. So maybe a lot of you haven't even seen this come out at the moment. Now, just to give you the quick backstory, HubSpot has always had lead scoring. They've had a manual score called the HubSpot score. And then they've also had predictive lead scoring, which was on enterprise marketing enterprise only. But now they've got this feature called lead scoring, and it's just a much more intuitive way to create a lead score versus how it used to be in HubSpot, where you had to go into properties and you had to create all the points and all the different actions. Let me show you a quick demo of how this works. I think it's going to be really valuable. Whether you're a B2B business or a B2C, both, I'll show you how both work. So now you're probably wondering who gets this. It's Marketing Pro and Marketing Enterprise, which most of you are on one of those anyway. So yeah, that's just a little point to make a note of. But let me show you how this works, right? So let's go first step. The first step is you click on marketing on the left-hand side, and you'll see here lead scoring here. So this is obviously in beta. You need to enroll into that. So now we're here. So what we want to do is go to create score. Okay. And what you'll see is here, you'll see that there's basically two main buckets. So if you're a B2C business, you're focusing on contacts. If you're B2B, you're focusing on companies. So what we want to look at here is, okay, are we wanting to measure engagement, which is typical in terms of scoring different leads, or is it more their company fit or the contact fit? For example, are we more interested in their job title, their company size, their company location, their industry, things like that? Right. So you need to decide, which of those would be more relevant. And then it takes you through like a bit of a walkthrough of what that looks like. So let me just show you here. This is what I prepared earlier. So you can see here, I've created a company lead score. And what I've focused on is the engagement of the company. Now, because we're a B2B business, as an agency, we work with businesses. Contacts are great, but what I'm more interested in is the company level, and everyone at a certain company, all the different contacts of that company, how are they engaging with our marketing, for example? So a couple of things that you can set up here. I've just created one. So for example, every time someone opens an email in the company, we assign them 10 points. You can change this to be whatever you like. And what I'd recommend is just trialing this and then just seeing how does this actually work, because you want to sort of get to 100 points is a pretty good sign that, okay, that they qualify as a marketing qualified lead, which means sales should contact them. This is for a B2B business. So I've just put in a couple of examples here. So maybe 10 points for every marketing email they open, 10 points for every form submission that they do. So whether they download something on your website, contact form, maybe an ebook or lead magnet, and then also 10 points for every page that they visit on your website as well. So this is really helpful in giving you a bit of a score. And then what happens next, let me just show you this. The next step here is excluding any company lists in this case, or contact lists. So in this case, I want to exclude partners, existing customers, and previous customers because they're not a lead. They're sort of past that stage. So we want to just focus on really leads, but we could even add opportunities to a degree as well and go, okay, how are we scoring these people? And then the next step is just to go into settings here. And the way that it works is you actually create a property in HubSpot. You give it a specific name. This is just called company lead score. It's the default name. You give it a description, optional, and then you give it a group. And then once you actually turn that on, it will create that lead score in HubSpot as either a company or a contact property. So the way this is meant to work is exactly the same as how the HubSpot score worked. Is if you've got a lot of leads coming into your CRM, into HubSpot, and you're just not sure which leads to contact first, this is a great way to prioritize those leads based on either their engagement or their fit in terms of job title, things like that. So yeah, definitely recommend playing around with this lead scoring. It looks really intuitive, and yeah, definitely going to be using it for our own business here as well, our own agency, because I can see a lot of benefits in using this, and highly recommend that you guys do it as well. Okay, so let's jump back into our updates. Now, further to marketing is looking at the new ad attribution filters. So if you're using marketing ads, which is, well, Marketing Starter gets ads as well, but Marketing Professional or Enterprise has the new attribution filters in HubSpot. So the way that it works is previously HubSpot's attribution for ads was very kind of unique to HubSpot, but now the way that it works is it's a bit more industry standard. So it uses things like first ad interaction or first touch, which is like an industry standard, and the last ad interaction or last touch. And then you've also got like re-engagement, which is any ad that they've clicked on, etc. So for a marketing perspective, you want to be looking at, both first touch and last touch, because they'll give you slightly different numbers. But this is just bringing HubSpot in line with the rest of the industry in terms of attribution reporting. Really important for, making sure when you're looking at marketing and ROI, what marketing campaigns are actually driving ROI. Is it Google? Is it LinkedIn? Is it Meta? And then looking at, okay, is it the first time they click on an ad? Is it the second time, etc. So let me now go to the next update, which is looking at syncing property types. So this is, again, I know it's a very boring admin-y sort of thing, but before, for us to actually sync property types, what we actually had to do was create workflows that would copy one property to another property. And this was just super annoying to do that. And it can get very, very complex very, very easily. So this new feature in HubSpot now, which is sync property type, what it means is you can just set up so for example, you've got a particular contact or company property, and you want to reflect that property in your deals. Previously, you had to create a workflow to do that. Now you can use this sync property type feature, which basically makes sure that those properties are automatically sort of copied across. So really cool, highly recommend. And you'll just find that things, for example, it might be notes from your discovery call with a contact or company. You want to bring that across to the deal. There's lots of different examples, but yeah, definitely give that a go. That's available to, it looks like it's professional and above subscriptions for this particular feature. Now, I'm not sure how many of you are using the new leads object in HubSpot. So designed specifically for, sales reps to manage their MQLs and SQLs before they become an opportunity. But also if you're in B2C, just managing your leads to opportunities. It's actually a really good workspace. So one of the things that you can now do within the lead workspace, if you like, is to create workflows. So it could be things like, for example, this is a good example here. When a lead comes into you, it's considered a new lead. But then when you start to contact that person, it goes to attempting. So you might want to say, you know what, instead of manually having to go in here and just remember, you can actually create a workflow here now that it generates a task every 3 days or whatever the case is to actually contact that lead and just to keep that top of mind. So you can create mini workflows here within the leads tool, which is which is actually very cool. Again, saving time and making sure the leads don't slip through the cracks. For those of you who are using Service Hub, the previous knowledge base was a little bit limited in terms of its design. You might remember, or you might be using it at the moment. It was pretty basic, let's be honest. So now there's a new knowledge base design, and it's very much drag and drop, very similar to marketing emails and landing pages in HubSpot, where it's all modules, drag and drop. You can update colors, typography, things like that. So what you need to do is, if you haven't used knowledge base yet, you'll automatically be opted into this. It's still in beta, so you need to enroll into this. But if you're on the previous knowledge base, you just need to migrate across to this one. So if you look at the product update section here, you'll see where you can do that. You can migrate your knowledge base across. Actually, it says here there'll be a release which allows you to do that. So it may not be available yet, but just keep a close eye on that. But I know for us, we've had our knowledge base. Well, we've been working on our knowledge base for a while, and I'm just glad I waited, because this is going to look so much better using this new design, just a bit more engaging than the previous one. All right, cool. The next update is looking at the new customer success workspace. So this was a big change. Service Hub got a really big rebrand or uplift, or whatever you want to call it, a little while ago, probably about 6 months ago now. And one of the updates here was the customer success workspace. So if you're a B2B kind of SaaS business, perfect. I mean, even if you're in a B2C business and you want to keep it and where you've got like an account manager who's managing a group of clients, this is going to work really well for you, because it typically works with, okay, which companies or contacts are assigned to you. And then you can keep a track of, okay, tasks, their health. There's a lot of metrics here that you can trial and work on. So again, it's currently in beta. You need to opt into it. You need a Service Hub Professional or Enterprise to get access to it. But we're actually thinking of trialing this for ourselves at Content Chemistry as well, because we're B2B. But yeah, a pretty cool way to sort of keep on top of what's happening for your portfolio of clients. But I think a perfect fit for this would be obviously B2B SaaS, where they've got assigned account managers or customer success managers here. Now, this is going back to April, but I know I've had a few questions about this, is the AI chatbot. So you're probably wondering, what is this? So HubSpot has always had a chatbot, or for quite a while, where it was very, very basic in terms of you give it specific questions to ask, and then based on the answers, you can give people a drop down, and then based on their answer, you give them another question or answer. So that was pretty basic, you could say. And then there's always been a live chat available on HubSpot as well. But the difference with the AI chatbot is it actually is powered by ChatGPT. So the way that it works is it uses your knowledge base to drive the responses for the chatbot. So this is pretty cool, but I guess the big caveat is you need to have the knowledge base set up so that you can actually, it's pulling the answers from your knowledge base. So those that have access to this, it's Service Hub Starter, Professional, or Enterprise. But we're going to be trialing this out when we get our knowledge base a little bit more robust. But you'll notice that even HubSpot are using this themselves for their support and things like that. So yeah, really think that this will be excellent. It's still early days, but very cool to see that this could be used on your website to answer customer questions or maybe support tickets, things like that. Very cool to see where this goes, but it's still early days, but definitely feel that you can use this, especially if you have a good knowledge base and you can give it some good data to learn from. Now, guys, the final update to run with you is the Google Enhanced Conversions for Leads. So you're thinking, why is this important and what is this? Okay, so we know that cookies on Google Chrome and things like that, they will be a thing of the past in the future. Google are actually hedging their bets a little bit. They were meant to remove cookies, I think this year or last year. They keep delaying it by a year because it's potentially going to ruin their Google Ads business. Um, but what they're focusing on is pushing people to use first-party data, which is like data that comes from your own CRM and pushing it back to Google Ads. So we've been actually trialing this for our clients, on our Google Ads clients, and it's been really good because the reality is that cookies are still pretty accurate, but things can happen. People can opt out, etc. And the data, you might be missing conversions potentially just by using cookies. So with Google Enhanced Conversions for Leads, with HubSpot, what you can do is you can create specific events. So whether it's like specific form submissions, or when a contact becomes a certain life cycle stage in HubSpot, you can then push that data back to Google Ads and say, give me more of those type of leads. So really good, very accurate, for all of our HubSpot clients who are actually on Marketing Professional, because this has to be, let me just triple check. Yeah, it's Marketing Professional and Enterprise. We've just been using this as our primary way to track conversions in Google Ads because it's just more accurate than just using GA4 or even GTM or Google Ads conversion. So yeah, highly recommend. If you're on Marketing Starter, it's a little bit tricky. You'll still need to use the traditional conversion events. But if you're on Marketing Pro Enterprise, highly recommend Google Enhanced Conversions. So guys, that's pretty much it for the product updates. What I would love to do is just get some Q&A from you and answer any questions. We're 2:05, so we're just a little bit under time. I didn't want this to be a huge webinar, but just love to get any questions that you've got. Let me just share my screen here. And let me just go 1 second. This one here is the one that I want. This one here, perfect. There we go. So yeah, any Q&A, and love to know any topics for future webinars as well that you think would be really helpful. Yeah, love to hear. So yeah, any questions? No pressure either way, but love to answer any questions that you've got, and any future topics potentially. Don't be shy. Everyone sounds like they're pretty sorted, which is good. Awesome. Awesome, guys. Well, look, I will let's wrap it up now. It's Friday afternoon, so uh we don't want to keep this going forever, but hopefully this was really valuable to everyone. We'll try to do these every month. It won't be as long next time because there'll be less updates to run through, but hopefully it was valuable. As I said, next time let's run through something a bit different. Please send me an email, nathan@contentchemistry.com.au, for any future things that you'd like to run through. Shout out to everyone, all of our clients that have joined today. Thanks for joining. Hope it was valuable to you. And we will see you on the next webinar next month. Thanks again.